What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the third episode of G.R.I.T.S. We're so glad to have you here. For those who are new here, G.R.I.T.S is a platform dedicated to amplifying the lived experiences of gay black men raised in the South. I'm one of your hosts, Tadean. We also have Earl.
What's up?
And of course, Julian here as well. Today's going to be an interesting episode. We're bringing along some great people in our lives, which you'll learn more about in a second, who have really helped space for us in our journeys of coming into ourselves, or as you all may like to say, coming out. So you'll learn about our journey, our relationship, and how we got to where we are today. Before we get there, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right. So to introduce our guest for today, beside me, I have one of my best friends, which is Lex. We've been best friends since middle school, 6th grade, and we're still rocking. How many ever years later this is? So, I love you. Glad to have you here. We'll talk more about that later.
All right. So as y'all know, I'm Earl. I have one of my best friends, Italy, here. We met, I'm going to say freshman year, y'all, but really, me and Italy met the summer at orientation before we were students at Winthrop. But when we got to school, Italy, like, she did not know me when we got in our first class. We were like one of 3 black people in our orientation group. First day of class, anthropology, we sat next to her, I was like, Italy. She's like, hey. I was like, you don't know me?
How we meet?
She's like, hey. I said, oh, okay. Got it. I said, well, we're going to be good friends. Don't worry. And it was.
And here y'all are today.
Here we are today. Was 15, 14 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, so not to age ourselves.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to jump in. So I think this literally speaks to this dynamic that I think a lot of black gay men can relate to. Is this relationship between black gay men and black women. And as we talked while preparing for this episode, just really feeling as though we've learned to hold space for each other from a lens of oppression and trying to always be seen, heard, and felt. Women, particularly black women, oftentimes always down on this totem pole, but also as gay black men, we deal with some of those same factors as well. But there's also beauty in this thing that we hold for each other too, right? So when y'all think about the relationship between black gay men and black women, what dynamics come to mind when you think of what that looks like?
Did you say repeat the question?
So when you think of black gay men and black women, what comes to mind when you think of like that type of relationship?
And best friends.
Yeah.
I see a lot of black women have a lot of gay black best friends.
Yeah.
Why? That's very normal.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I feel like as being a black male and then also being gay for one, you're still comforting to them as far as like a protector and like a big brother a little bit, but then it's kind of like you still like the same things that I like and we can still relate to a lot of things. So I think you get the best of both worlds.
That's fair.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree. I definitely look at it as like a big brother, little sister, or a big sister, little brother type of dynamic like me and Earl have. We relate on a lot of different things. We're woke on a lot of different things. And so I think it just helps that relationship grow. And obviously, like with Earl, just being an accountability person, not like making you a delulu friend, like setting me straight. But I think that's the dynamic when it comes to black women and black gay men relationship. I think that's funny.
Yeah, I feel like this is like vision. We see each other in other ways that doesn't have to be explained. I feel like, and we'll get into this, but saw me before I probably was able to say who I am, but hold that space of just when you're ready. Yeah. And so I don't know, it's just always this connection between one, like the similarities of what we like, but just that protector piece on both sides and just connection.
Yeah, that's good. I feel I don't have any science behind this, but just kind of that level of emotional intelligence that I think many women find very early in life just because of y'all's experience in the world, black women in particular. And then for gay black men who are aware of their gayness, I feel like we go through like an emotional kind of learning very early on. So I feel like on some level you kind of meet each other there. And so I think that's also a really important piece about that relationship too.
Survival just came to my mind for some reason. Like that young age of us being, what's the word? I feel like at a young age, black women and black queer boys have to learn to maneuver spaces differently. If it's not too much attention, or let me learn how to camouflage or blend into certain spaces, which goes to like that learning I have to be aware of others way earlier than most. And so I think that is another piece of like, oh, we see each other. So
yeah. Well, y'all, speaking of seeing each other, I got a messy little question. So, for y'all, when did y'all see a little sugar in their tanks? You know, a little bend in the wrist.
Not a bend in the wrist.
I'm about to spit.
Honestly, it's like you kind of think that when you're younger, but then you're like, I haven't seen enough to know what that is or what that looks like. But I did know that you were a lot feminine than most. But I never, until you told me, it wasn't true to me. I was just,
Really?
to me, that's how I just felt. I mean, I knew whenever you did feel comfortable, you would tell me, but I just don't like to judge or prejudge because there are straight men who still have a little bit of a feminine side as well. So you don't want to prejudge because you don't know.
If everybody thought like that.
Listen, well, so I guess because y'all were younger, 6th grade, I don't know what age that is. Me and Earl, we were like 17, 18 years old. So I kind of figured it, but I never would ask that question. I wanted him to be able to feel safe enough to let me know, or feel comfortable enough to say that. As our relationship grew, and we would all have conversations about like our significant others. Earl always used the term they, and that was before like pronouns was like,
I'm a game baby.
That's how you know.
That
people,
they, them.
you know, they, them was an actual pronoun, whatever people address themselves as or wanted to be addressed as. So me and Raven, one of my good friends, we would always be like, they. Who is them? Who is they? Like,
What do they
who is
look like?
that? You know, so we always had it in the back of our head, but we never asked that question, just like I said, because we wanted him to be comfortable. And we would also kind of like talk about our relationships with the same sex just to try to make him feel comfortable, if that makes sense. So that we know, like, you know, we're okay with it. Like, you know, like we want you to be yourself. But yeah, so I think from the beginning I kind of had thoughts, but I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, because back then I would dabble with still was dating girls here and there. Like, surprise, you know, give you a little.
So I was like, oh, I don't know.
Keep you on your toes.
But it's good that you didn't feel like you had to lie. So
Yeah.
it's not like you were just around saying her. You know what I'm saying? At least you know they, them. So
Because in my head, I was like, I want them to ask. If they ask, I'll say it.
You wanted them to ask.
Oh my God, yes. But then my friends are respectful. So like, they was like, I would never have asked you that. But we don't get into that. But God, yeah.
And you would have said yes.
I think it would have been easier.
really,
Because I don't lie. Like, as she said, the accountability friend, since childhood, I've just never been able to lie. I'm just going to tell you what it is. And so, if you would have asked, I'm like, yeah. But yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, so next question. So prior to meeting us, have y'all had people that were queer in y'all's family or in your circles beforehand?
Yes, I did. Well, it was just kind of the same situation.
Okay.
I had a friend in high school that I like in the back of my head, like I said, and I came from a very small town, graduating class of 35 people, so we were really, really small. It took a while, like it took years before he came. How did you say it? Came into. So I did have that kind of similar relationship with someone else in my friend circle in high school.
Interesting.
I think I had another friend as well where basically y'all were just alike. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so I got the same kind of like vibe as well. But like I said, until you feel comfortable telling me or until you want to come out and say, I'm not going to assume.
Wait, we're friends now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Come on, best friend speaking
I
telepathically.
know.
Right.
You gotta have a little code. But I would say this, even for me, like I had other queer friends or gay friends, particularly all male, and it was like this thing of like we see each other, right? And it's interesting you brought that up because I think it happens on both sides. It's either I see you and we connect and we build friendship and a bond, or I see you and it makes me see myself, so I don't want us to see each other.
Yeah.
So we actually may not even like each other, right? It's kind of like that othering thing. I'm gonna put you like
over there.
This
way.
Yep.
And it's like get invisible beef.
Yeah.
It is. It's like this tension.
No reason.
This tension for which is wild.
No valid reason at all. But that's what it is. We see each other and we both hate that at the time.
It's fearful.
It's fearful.
Yeah.
Because if they see us together, they might really come back.
Okay.
Right.
Then you.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about even in high school. I remember this one person was out, but they were like messy. But like oh yeah, I got a crush on him. Like just messiness. So you just be like, I don't even want to be because you're like the other. It was weird. Because even now you just be like, high school is so dumb. It's just so dumb.
It's an experiment. It's crazy.
Literally.
It is interesting.
Did you ever feel like you couldn't talk to other queer males because you felt like they would expose you before your time?
No, like I was like really cool with everybody at school. So I was cool. Like we were cool today. Well, Caleb and I had known each other since like middle school. I was always cool with him. I just more so stayed clear of one person I just found to be messy, but just because they just was always other stuff. So, like I'll be speaking, I'm gonna be cool with everybody, but my tea is my tea for right now.
I'll speak to that though. I definitely had trepidation about being physically close.
Trepidation.
Yes.
SAT.
Like just about being about being like close to people in public, like other gay guys in public, because it's like, you know, for me, like I have so many brothers, right? So I have like 5 brothers. My parents didn't have any girls. I felt like I had all of these examples on how I should be. And then coming from like my family's background, like with my dad and my granddad and my uncles, like they're all very, very, they're military, but like they're very like, you know, alpha, manly, men do this kind of guys. And so, yeah, it would scare me to be around other gays, honestly, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I know they already have questions about me because I'm not like, I don't bring girls home, you know, I don't have girlfriends. I used to they them when I'm hanging out with people as well, and it's like, if they see me physically with someone, like that's going to confirm everything.
Guilty by association.
Exactly. And so, yeah, I had probably until high school, I would say probably like 10th grade, that was the first time I had like a gay friend and my parents knew, you know, yeah, so.
And that's why, like, you know, we created this platform to talk about things like that, because oftentimes you are experiencing that journey alone because of the same things we're talking about right now. So like to kind of flip that coin a little bit and talk about showing up for you all. One of the things we were very intentional about in our planning is not just talk about how y'all helped us, because oftentimes Black women are the ones to do whatever that means for your families, for yourselves, for the world, your jobs. Everything is on the backs of Black women. So we kind of wanted to also see how can we be better for and by and with you all. So, you know, when we think about oppression, that shows up in different forms in different ways. There's a common oppression amongst Black people, right? And then as you add intersections to that, that oppression can kind of compound, right? Whether that's gender, queerness, whatever it may be. Now you're facing kind of like this double, triple, so on and so forth forms of oppression. So the fact that we're still all male, on top of also being male presenting, there's certain privileges that come with that we have to recognize. But what can we do with our privilege as Black men, as Black gay men, not just us three, even those watching, what can we do to show up better for Black women?
Just protect Black women. I just feel like just being who you are, but still also, speaking up for you, but also speaking up for us and speaking up for everybody, and just still keep that, like we said, that black queer and then that black female relationship, still just keeping that tight and understanding and recognizing a good relationship with a good black female.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it's very hard because Earl did set just a great example for protecting it. We are a very protective friend group and very defensive. Real bad. So I definitely agree with you. Just keep setting that tone and being that role model for other black men or black gay men to protect us, to stand up for us, to be there for us, support us. I think just continue doing what you're doing because y'all doing a great job.
Right.
Can I dig into that? Like, what are some ways for you, Italy, that Earl has shown up like that? And then same for you, Lex. Like, can you think of a moment where it's like, wow, like he did fill in the blank for me, or I needed fill in the blank and Tadean did it, or Earl did it, or I was going through this in my life and they showed up. So
I think even to the more subliminal things like relationships, just having a conversation with Earl and just like him making me recognize my worth in situations. I might get emotional already.
Pull your triangle out.
The triangle.
Anyway, but just even those little small things, like always having accountability. Like Earl is not the friend to be like I said earlier, to bring your Delulu situation to him and he think that he's gonna say like, oh yeah girl, do that. Like, no, he's not gonna do that. So I would say something, I can't think of like one teeny thing because my memory is horrible. Probably when I finish this episode I'm gonna think about it, but just in general I just know that's the type of personality that he has and that's how he shows up for me and the rest of his friends.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I don't know, I think you've always showed up for me. Like always. I can never think of a time where you haven't shown up for me.
Watch it.
I always feel seriously, I've always felt the most comfortable talking to you about anything, like the smallest things, anything. I mean, low key, I followed him to college. Let's be real.
Very true. Didn't even come to Winthrop. Never seen the campus until move-in day.
Wow.
No, I forgot where I went with
where I
that.
went with
But I didn't visit the campus before then. But I just knew, okay, well, if I can't go here, then I'm gonna go here with my best friend. And even throughout college, our relationship remained the same. Usually when people grow up together and then they go to a school, sometimes people can separate and find themselves, but we always stay close, going to each other's dorms, just laying in the bed together, just the most random stuff, y'all. It's so random, but you've always been there for me.
That's how we used to be at Raven Room, take a date now in Raven Room.
Exactly.
But I think it's so beautiful too, and you mentioned like we've grown together, like we've done life together, and I think as you shift, you change, you evolve.
Yeah.
I hope that there's always some people that are from my day ones who still find me the same in some ways, and knowing that you are that for me, that even though I am changing every single day, I am not who I was as a kid, but there's still something about me that keeps us here and grounded as a relationship. That is beautiful to me, and that's always accomplished for me. That's so sweet.
It's sweet. It's giving me like, the term safe spaces is used a lot, but like having that in another person, and we're talking about like the gender dynamic between black men and black women. Ultimately, I think it's really important for people to have safety in these sorts of relationships. So it's like, how did you all find safety with each other? Was it automatic? Like when you all first met, was it like instant, like I can talk to Tadean about every little thing kind of thing, or did you have to work to that? Like how did that kind of work out for y'all?
I feel like ours was automatic.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's kind of like when like somebody gives off that vibe that you can trust them, or just seeing how they move in life, what they do, their morals or values. Like I feel like ours was just.
It was
our first orientation. Like we were, even though I didn't remember.
Yeah. Because I was gonna bring it up. I mean, I didn't know if you were gonna recall,
We
but
had like a deep. I don't know what we were talking about, but it got. I don't know.
some
I
kind of
cried like
experiences,
everything. Yeah,
like
and,
childhood.
yeah, so we had a connection there. So I think it was just kind of.
It was instant. Like I told her at orientation, "Oh, you and I are gonna be like great friends," and she was like, "Oh, okay." Like like paid it, but as you would. But I just knew. I was like, "No, I like you."
Yeah.
And then at the time, so our clique freshman year was you, myself, Shanti, Shadell, and Raven. Shanti and Italy known each other since childhood, and then Raven and I met first week, instant friendship, and Shadell and I known each other since high school. But we all met at a club, beefing it up in a circle, like just beefing it up, and then every day since.
Not beefing it up.
Literally, like
literally how.
we saw them, and I was like, "Oh no, that's who she's in my class." And then we all walked up, started dancing together, and then ate lunch, dinner every day since.
Wow.
And like literally, would be in each other's dorm rooms while one of them at class, sleeping in their bed, just
Yeah.
instant.
Yeah. I think you just know. I don't think there was a thing.
Yeah.
Right. But I remember.
Never.
I remember what Lex was wearing.
The Beta Club convention.
We met Beta Club.
But y'all, we went to the same school.
Same school.
But I guess because we weren't in the same classes,
Yeah.
we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
So when we got to the Beta Club convention, you're there for a couple of days, we instantly clicked. And then that was my
it.
best friend.
Yeah.
We became best friends fast.
Very nice. She had on a purple silk shirt with some great fur boots.
Not the boots with the
Not too much now.
Did she have on apple bottoms?
Full fit.
Okay.
Full fit. But after that, so Dylan is very small, of course. So once we got to 6th grade, we both were in honors. Top of our class. Once you get to 6th grade, you have the same classmates until you graduate. Our classes never switched again. So we did everything together. We had every single class together. Every club we could do together, we did. We did band together.
For a little while.
Well, I kept going. And then here we are today, too. So I don't know if it was a thing. I think it was just...
It just was natural. We just we like the same things, especially when it came to music. I think music is one thing that really brought us
100%.
together.
Because
Still
to
to this day, we'll send each other random songs. Listen to this. We'll be in class singing the song. So music really.
we should have been music producers.
Definitely, we got good ears. Definitely good ears.
We're like, we can tell you what's gonna be a single.
Yeah.
No,
For
that's
real.
not our thing, baby.
And also to know we have that same thing too. It's so beautiful. Music really does. break
Unless I
people.
be drinking, that's when I get on my. But I'm old school. I'm just R&B all day. You'll be tired of my music.
Question: what So we talk about this safety, right? And the fact that we all felt safe. When you know, But there was still this factor of us not coming into.
Yeah.
And letting them a part of that journey to later on. Right? So what's the dynamic of when did you first tell Italy? Even when did you first tell your first female in your life? When was that? How did that happen? How were you feeling at that moment?
Picture it. So no, it was junior year of college. Tax day. Italy was like, yo, let's go. Sonny's barbecue.
Endorse us.
And not endorse us, but we went. Tax day, went to go eat. We were sitting down. I don't know. At that point, for months, I'm like, "Yo, you're gonna do it. You're gonna say it to somebody." And I knew it was gonna be Italy. I was with Italy all the time. Italy, it was either Italy or Raven. My other best friends went to different school, but Italy's was that friend that just. Italy guy is always just even keel. Only time she better get hype or mad is if somebody's trying, somebody she cares about. So she's just always so relaxed. She's like, okay, now you're gonna get some tears, but that's it. But we were sitting down across each other. I don't know what we were talking about, but I just was like, yo, I don't feel like my friends get to see the whole me. Like she said, just I had so much tea to give them, 3 years worth of just let me give you my life. And so we were sitting down and I didn't even say it. Remember I gotta tell you something. He was like, okay. And I was like, just talking in circles.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I can't. And she's like, well, what is it? And I said, hold on. So I texted to her.
Really?
She's in front of
I could not say the word until I texted. And then she looked down and she was like,
That is so.
And then I was like, okay. And then I said it, and then she was like,
Like, no.
okay,
So
okay.
that is crazy to me because when I did it, I was in high school in the computer lab with my friend Michaela.
I just sent a message.
No, literally.
Wow.
I was like I literally remember the feeling. My hands were shaking, and not to say that I ever hid who I was. I feel like it's quite obvious, but you know that's just my perspective. I literally was on the IM or whatever the system was on the computer, and the girl right beside me, Michaela, was like someone that I'd been cool with. We used to have a couple classes together. She was, you know, really, really fun. And so I literally was like, I gotta tell you something. And she was like, texted back like, what? And I was like, I'm gay. And then she like turned to the side and she just like put her hand on my hand. And it was just a nice moment. That was my first time.
That is so sweet.
Everybody did it.
No,
That'll do it.
like literally, and it's so crazy because I just remember you didn't even ask no questions. Like you literally just held the space and smiled, and then I was just like, "You got questions?" And then you were just like, "No." And he was like, "How do you feel?" You kept bringing it back to me, and just like, "How do you feel?" And then I think that's when I was like, "Okay, are you ready to know about like the dating history?" And then that's when like all the they them periods, I added names, I added like who, and then she was like, I knew it. Because this was the story.
I didn't know, but I was
Right,
like, oh
yeah.
my goodness.
And then I think we left, and then your boyfriend at the time had called me and was like, Italy's crying. Like, what's going on? What happened at dinner? And I was just like, well, how is she crying? And she was like, I'm just happy for you in the background. So,
I remember telling him, you know, I made sure that he knew that I don't even know the word for it, like that he trusts me enough to let me know that, because I know that was a major thing to like say, text, whatever situation is, and I was just like, oh my god, like you really do feel like you're safe with me to be able to like be your first person that you ever like tell, because I feel like, as you know, I'm an advocate, that's my job, but I feel like the first person you tell that to could deter you from being who you are, like in the future. Like, you know, if I would have reacted in a negative way, like you might would have held that, closed that in, held that back for years and years because of. So I was like, you know, he really loves me, he really trusts me.
Down.
He was willing to take that step to come into and let me know. So I appreciate that.
I love you.
I love you too.
When I came to Winthrop, I was straight. Alright, so I had been bisexual. I didn't use those words, but I was definitely bisexual. I like girls and guys. And then when I got to Winthrop, I was trying to just do girls. Thought I was. And I remember, no lie, walking into Thompson Cafeteria one day and seeing this guy. And I was like, I was done. I was like, who is that? And why does he look that good? I ain't never seen that like that in Dillon.
Whole new
So
world,
I was done.
whole new place I'd rather be.
A whole new world. I was done. So I was like, I want to talk to him. So we never started hanging out, like getting to know each other, doing homework. We were together a lot. And I just remember one night, because Lexa, I was hanging out late at this point. She don't know who I'm hanging with. She not asking too many questions, but like I'm definitely leaving gaps in the story. So one night I'm leaving his room, his dorm, and I was like, I think I told you to meet me outside or something.
I don't know if you were going to see him or if you were coming back from seeing him. I just know you had your do-rag on. You was about to have a nightcap. You had a do-rag on, so we was walking around the campus. And I can't remember, I asked either where you were coming from or where you were going or something like that. And I think you just showed me the name on the phone.
Yeah, very true.
That's all you did. He didn't come out and say anything. He just showed me the name on the phone.
Okay.
And I think I kind of looked like, oh, but then I was kind of like, oh, he's fine. Like,
Pause that.
That's a good one.
Straight to the top.
I thought he was fine too. So we already knew. We already knew without even saying anything. We already knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very happy for you though. I was very happy for you because I feel like a weight had been lifted off of your shoulder. And I know that's what it felt like for like a lot of y'all, because I know how you were just explaining as well, how you just activated and started telling her, putting names and everything. And I just love the fact that you just felt so comfortable. And you came here and it's like going to college, you're starting a new life, you start from scratch, nobody knows you. And I like that you came into who you were very early in college, so that way you were able to be who you were during the best years of your life. Because imagine coming to college and not being who you are, which they were the best years of my life. I don't know about anybody else. So imagine coming there and you not being who you are. It probably would have been miserable. It probably would have really been miserable. Opened a lot of opportunities too. I feel like it did.
And it makes you think, you know, like if I would have gave young Tadean that space to just be, to not carry the load of the days and the hiding and like deleting all my messages, like all the things you just carry with the weight of hiding.
But then I feel like doing that at a young age, it would have brought it back to what Italy has said about you know, you telling the wrong person the first time, it probably would have shut you down. You probably would have never came back out.
But the reality is, you know, you held that space with me throughout our whole relationship. So it really proves, and it wasn't until I told my parents that I realized this. Your journey of coming out or into is only literally for you. And we carry that weight thinking it's about everybody else, what they're going to feel. And the moment you let that out, you realize it is about no one else. This is about me. Because if I'm being real, you held that space before freshman year of college. You did that since 6th grade. But why didn't I feel comfortable, right? Because I wasn't there in my journey, right? But when the opportunity met my preparation, then we had the breeding ground for me to really come into myself. So I don't, you know, take away from my experience. It was in this right timing. But 6th grade Tadean could have really, really, really flourished with a little bit more bravery and space to do that.
But I just feel like everything, I'm just real big on like fate and time, like things happen when they're supposed to happen.
Absolutely.
And also college is all about finding yourself. Like, and yes, everybody doesn't take that route, but I just feel like in college, the experiences I had, the people I met, like, I have best friends from middle school, but like my lifelong friends I met in college, like we have experienced life together, births, deaths, marriages, like we have experienced it all. But I just feel like when you were ready to come in, was when you were ready. Even though like I look back, even like high school, like, oh, I would have loved if I went to prom, but I was like, I didn't even have a gay experience until college, so it wouldn't even been the right time. So, and that was a different time. Not aging myself, but that was a different time.
We used to be ugly at prom.
Oh no, baby, I wasn't talking about ugly. I was talking about
He said,
like
speak for yourself.
Oh, baby.
But
You wasn't flying in a helicopter in prom, Earl.
Okay.
No.
We didn't have prom, baby.
Who had a helicopter?
These kids,
Oh no. These kids different.
They be getting
Yeah, we had an entrance.
We had a real good entrance.
We had an extra.
Yeah.
We pulled up.
Not y'all showing out.
Yeah, we did.
Early.
We'll leave that there.
So how has it been for y'all two though? Because y'all met in college.
Yeah, we actually met going our senior year of high school, like through like the winter hashtag or whatever. We And we searched Wu 18, and he was on there, and I was like, oh, he looks kind of preppy like me. He can dress like me. He's like handsome, you know. I think it was on Twitter at the time.
It might have been Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Instagram. And we never stopped talking since that day.
It was so nice. I was like, I know I was doing like what was it, a cotillion or something? I had I remember I had a practice that night. Or maybe it was the show or something. And you messaged me, and I'm just like, oh, who is this? Scrolling through Instagram, like you said. And he going to wait for
No,
and he got early acceptance. That was the other part too, because we both applied pretty early. So this had to be like really early in our senior year of high school. And so, we started talking then, and then we met at the Florence Mall.
At the mall.
The Magnolia Mall.
To hang out.
Yeah, because he was coming from Sumter.
I'm from Sumter,
I was coming from Dillon, so we met in Florence.
Yeah, so that was like a midpoint, and we went to Chick-fil-A and then just walked around the mall and started talking. I was so nervous because, again, getting back to kind of that I'm sure that he's like me, also gay, but I just
Yeah.
being there with another guy in person is like, ooh, the stress. What if somebody from church sees me?
Throw the Bible at me.
Right. And because the area is pretty small, like realistically that could have happened. And I had a lot of those feelings even that day, but pushed through it. Clearly it was for a good purpose, but ever since then we just all up in each other's faces.
Question though. Okay, so what was the hesitation before coming in with our people?
That's a good question.
And so what hesitations or fears might you all have had?
So I think the hesitation is bigger than the person.
Yeah.
The hesitation is everything else, and I'm trusting you to make everything else feel worth it. Right? They are the reason I waited, not you. But if I'm finally going to make that move, I'm going to do it with you. So that's the hesitation. It's the world. It's judgment. It's shame. It's guilt from a Christian standpoint. Feeling like I shouldn't be this way anyway, and I'm going to hell. So who am I to verbally say I want to admit that I am this? Right. So I was carrying all of that in my younger years. But that was the hesitation for me. Because it wasn't her, but it was also the fact of I don't want to lose my best friend.
Yes.
Right? Like, is it worth taking the risk of losing my best friend, or how she sees me?
And it's so interesting how that's like a twofold, because it flips. Because echoing everything you said, right, especially around the Christianity piece, that was the biggest part for me. And just your mind can be so dangerous. It will create these scenarios that are just not realistic at all. Like, I knew my family was supportive. I knew my friends would be supportive, but in my head I'm like, oh no, they about to go in. I'm gonna have to cuss them out and be like, I never talk to you again. So like that fear of loss. But then it's so interesting because like when you are ready to say it, you're like, I don't care who I lose, because I don't want to lose myself. So it's so interesting how that flips. Of like, I will lose any and everybody standing who I am, and I will go start over. But yeah, that was like my only hesitation. Like, I don't want to lose my friends, even though I knew they were just like, we ready.
I want to say this, flipping that question again, because at the time, Lex was very straight.
Not very.
Now she's making married before me. Like, very much on her way. Did you have any hesitation with telling me?
I didn't. How you was just saying, I didn't care. Even when it came to like my parents and any of that. When I first started dating females, I was in a serious relationship with a female. I would not go home because I would be in fear of what I would say to them if they ever disrespected who I was with or being with her. Because my mom always told me but my mom is my best friend. My mom is my best friend, so she always told me, your home is your home. Don't let nobody come in your home. So if it's got to be me and her against the world, it's going to be me and her against the world. So it was never a problem for me. Even when my mom asked me, I think she was just like, you hang around a lot of gay girls, you gay? I said, might be, might not be, whatever float my boat at the time kind of thing. Like, whatever I want to do, that's just what I want to do. And honestly, we never brought it up again. It was never an issue. She never said anything. Like, bringing my girlfriends home when it was time for them to come, it was never like nothing. It was never awkward or anything. Yes, but I think because I also had that rebellious spirit, like, if you want to be my family and you still want me to come around and you love me, you're going to respect who I am. And so if I would have had to cut y'all off, I would have to cut y'all off. And that's just how it is.
I have to relate to that because I never had I never been in a relationship with a female, but they wouldn't dabble. But I going back to my point, I just didn't feel like I had to ever say it. Like, I didn't feel like I had to say anything. Only time I was, like you said, very hesitant to even have conversations like with my family, whatever, because I come from a small town, very Christian. Like, I just
What town are you from?
I'm from Gresham, like there in Marion, South Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marion.
Yeah.
I'm saying, all y'all down the road with each other.
Right down the street. But so I'm like you, like it always was kind of like what I'm going to say in response, because I'm very defensive and like I will go off on you if you say something that I feel like is going to offend me or my friends or anything of that nature. So I was kind of I remember saying it to my family, because my little sister she is gay, but she I don't want to say the wrong term, masculine presenting. So it's very obvious or whatever. And we have conversations about that, and I'm like, shit. Oh, sorry.
Free space.
Shit, I'm gay too. Like, you know, I was just like, y'all do too much. You know, like that type of situation. And that's just kind of how everybody felt.
No, I remember that because you called. You was just like, I just
everybody found out, because I just didn't feel like I needed to say it. But at that moment, I felt like I needed to defend my sister and say, like, just because she presents this way doesn't mean anything. Like,
surprise.
I do the same. Right. You know, surprise. You know, y'all thought your little angel wasn't out here doing stuff. Okay. You know, so yeah, I was just kind of more on kind of similar to what you were saying. Just was kind of like, y'all like it, y'all don't. Oh well.
Right. I want to offer up a number one. Thank y'all.
Yes.
For being who you are, being great women, being beautiful black women, strong, courageous, soft black women. And we're all grateful. Like, even through this little friendship, we all got to know each other. Y'all was meeting for the first time today, but we know Italy now. Y'all know Lex now. Like, you know, the whole thing. But just want to, like, lift up our friendship, our allyship, right? So one of the things we've done at the beginning of this journey, we ended our first episode when we had our guests offering a cheers to each other. So want to offer that same opportunity to you all alongside us. Some cups are a little empty, but we're still here. We're still here, nonetheless.
Let's give a verbal affirmation.
So we just go around the room, offer a cheers. However you feel in this moment, whatever you're leaving this space with, offer a cheers. So I can go first. I'm going to offer a cheers. So cheers to liberation. Cheers to creating space for others to be liberated around you. And cheers to the journey of what even more liberation looks like. That's my cheers, leaving this space today.
That's great.
I'll follow that. Cheers to truth, and cheers to understanding, and cheers to the alliance that exists between us. I think it's beautiful. So, cheers to that.
You want me to go? You got
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to say cheers to connection, unity, insight of seeing each other, supporting each other, and just cheers to love. Yeah.
I'll do just cheers to peace. Just you being just peaceful in who you are, peaceful in life, just walking through your journey. Like I said, that weight has been lifted. So I'm just very, very, very happy and excited for y'all in y'all's journey and being who y'all are. Even though you couldn't maybe have been that the first part of your life, I really hope the rest of y'all's lives, like, y'all really get to be who you are. So cheers to that.
I would say cheers to love, cheers to friendship, and cheers to continue to show up as yourself unapologetically.
Definitely.
Thank y'all. Love y'all.
Love y'all. Look, find your people.
Period.
Find your people. Find yourself.
So that's it for episode number 3. Thank you all so much for watching us. We're signing off. We love y'all so much. Take care.
Bye.